So what I do is I help businesses, I bridge that gap for them. So if you say, hey, look, I'm interested in utilizing AI, what can I do with it? This is where I'll come in and I'll say, okay, Kamil, tell me what are the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis? What is mundane? We look for opportunities to automate, maybe use AI. And that's a good point, or an important point, is that not everything is about AI. Some of it is just automation, right? And that's utilizing tools we've already had, whereas some of it is AI. But right now, it's just trying to figure out what can we do with it. And that's where people like me help businesses figure out how can you implement it. And that's, again, from training to maybe custom code for their own websites. There's so many jobs right now that are going to get affected by AI, not replaced. There's a lot of confusion, I think, and a lot of fear over that. Video editing is definitely one of them. We see now with a lot of video editing where it takes a transcript and you just take out, Willie said something in here, take out that line, and it not only takes out the audio, but it takes out the video as well.
Yeah.
So you can, whereas before you had to look at the video, chop it, take it, all that stuff. Now you're just looking at it as text and, oh, you said a bad word there. Yeah, just take that out. And it truncates the video right there and edits it. So I have a lot of content that is still SD, right? Standard definition, not as great. So now what I do is I run those videos through AI. It upscales the video, makes it nice and sharp and a bigger thing, but then it still has a lot of old stuff on the video. So like headers and phone numbers and logos. I want all of that out. So I used AI. This is where I'm going to get techie for a second, right? I used AI. I'm on a Mac. I used AI to create what's called an automator script, which basically means that I can create the script so I can see the file, I can right click on it and say video mask and crop, and now it will automatically in the background do all of the work and export a new video.
Welcome everybody, I'm Kamil Sarji, the host of Just 2 Minutes, and today we have Willie. Willie, you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure. First of all, Kamil, thanks for having me on the podcast. My name is Willie Myette. I am the creator of Jazzedge AI and Jazzedge. I'm a jazz pianist, went to Berkeley, been playing music all my life, play, tour, record, all that good stuff. I started with an online piano education program, jazzedge.com, still going, so people that want to learn piano online. But then since AI has come out, I've always been programming and coding all my life, but now I've moved into AI for business, and Jazzedge AI is helping business owners be able to bring AI into their operations, whether that be just trying to understand how to use AI or how to bring it into their workflow. And I have a new product that I'm working on right now that is going to make it a lot easier for people that are a little maybe skittish or don't know a lot about AI to be able to have more like a Mad Lib style prompting for AI to make it so they get AI stuff, makes it a little bit more useful for them.
Nice. Yeah. I'll say that AI has like advanced my business in the last 6 months because of everything that it has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, thank you for coming in.
We got the two-minute hot seat.
I got my, yeah. So for just 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you some random questions.
Let's do it.
Okay. And go. So do you think aliens have AI emotional partners?
Oh, wow. Do aliens have AI emotional partners? I think that aliens and their technology is integrated that maybe it's not even considered a partner. Maybe they are all one.
Wow. Okay. So I was driving around. I see a lot of homes and I see a lot of people in construction. But I saw this guy swinging a hammer and I guess he hit the nail wrong or whatever. The lumber fell down and then he just went off, like started kicking the lumber. What do you think was going on in his head?
He should have had a nail gun. I'll tell you the story later, but like an AI to the nail gun. And yeah, he's probably using a hammer when that was the wrong tool for the job. Should have used a nail gun.
Unbelievable. All right. So do you think in the future we'll have pills to like help us do stuff?
We got pills to help us do
Now.
stuff now.
So how about to effectively fix and solve bowel issues?
Yeah, so like a roto-rooter kind of pill. Like I said, they got that now, but yeah, I think what's going to be interesting is the medical advances that we just have no clue about what's going to be happening. And I bet you it's going to be less pills and less invasive stuff.
How about like a broken bone?
They're going to eventually figure out some way of being able to fix that. Like the Star Trek thing, Gene Roddenberry got a lot of things right when you look at the tablets and moving things around and all that, touch interfaces. So yeah, I think that they'll be able to do it.
Do you think robots can
Let's finish it. Yeah.
Do you think robots one day will be able to give massages, and do you think they'll be insulted if they don't get tipped?
They're not going to care about tipping because the whole tipping culture thing has probably gotten out of control, and for them it's going to be a non-issue. They're going to be able to give massages, and you're going to be able to dial in the intensity of the massage.
Awesome. All right.
Now, as far as the ending of the massage, I'm sure there's going to be robots for that too, but that's not on this podcast.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think of the questions?
I love the 2 minutes. Like I obviously listened to some of the other episodes of your podcast, which are great and they're fun and interesting. And like I told you, I especially like the one with Bob talking about the Pony Express and marketing, digital marketing, direct mail marketing. But in preparing for the podcast, I went on to ChatGPT and like, so the podcast host is going to do this 2 minutes of like random questions like this. Give me some cheeky responses. And I was wondering like what would come up. And I could tell you some if you're interested. What's your secret talent? I can make a mean omelet while comping in 7-8 times. So it did music stuff. So then I said, get off of the music stuff and go like more A. It's like, what is your guilty pleasure? Reading 1-star reviews of AI tools. It's like Yelp for tech chaos. I'm like, so some of them are like, eh. So AI is not funny yet. That's the point.
So my questions, I don't use AI. It's all like just random thoughts.
Stream of consciousness.
Try to get. So yeah, I think in real estate, and I think this episode's great for agents who don't use AI at all or dabble in it a little bit, but the potential is just insane. Hoping to talk about that and hoping to talk about how to improve asking AI to do stuff.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So before we start with that, you're helping people with prompts and asking the right questions. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, one of the challenges that I've found with AI, there's a lot of power in AI, but what happens a lot of times is that we don't know what we can do with it, so we don't know how to tap into that power. And there's a lot of analogy going back to when the internet first started, right? So AI right now, which just came out November of 22, right? So it's not even 3 years old yet. ChatGPT came out in November of 2022. So it's like when the internet just started. When the internet just started, people didn't really know what to do with the internet. Like you send an email or whatnot, like online and ordering, and I put my credit card in, a lot of fear and all of that. So what I do is I help businesses, I bridge that gap for them. So if you say, hey, look, I'm interested in utilizing AI, what can I do with it? This is where I'll come in and I'll say, okay, Kamil, tell me what are the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis? What is mundane? We look for opportunities to automate, maybe use AI. And that's a good point, or an important point, is that not everything is about AI. Some of it is just automation, right? And that's utilizing tools we've already had, whereas some of it is AI. But right now, it's just trying to figure out what can we do with it. And that's where people like me help businesses figure out how can you implement it. And that's, again, from training to maybe custom code for their own websites.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that they can use AI to the basic stuff like, oh, help me fix this email so I look smart. But there's deeper things that you can do with AI.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, even fixing the email, one problem with that some people have is that now the email doesn't sound like me. So this is where you create your brand voice. I talked about that in the marketing camp, right? So now once you have your brand voice, now the email can sound more like you. And that's like this tool that I'm developing is to help with all of that. But that's just scratching the surface. You can use it for course creation. We were talking about that earlier, right? So you can have it design a course, training material. and I want to be careful. Like there's some real techie things that I can talk about, and I don't want to get too techie. So forgive me if I get too techie or if I dumb it down too much. I know some people know AI, some people don't. But I've been utilizing it in really creative ways. So I still have my online piano business, right? And I have students all around the globe with that. So I have a lot of old videos. Like I started doing this in 2000. That was way before HD. And in fact, my first videos were with a 3-minute camera, a little Nikon digital camera that could take 3-minute videos. So I'd put it on the stand, it would be moving. I sit down and I play for 3 minutes. And then that was the initial video. So I have a lot of content that is still SD, right? Standard definition, not as great. So now what I do is I run those videos through AI. It upscales the video, makes it nice and sharp and a bigger thing, but then it still has a lot of old stuff on the video. So like headers and phone numbers and logos. I want all of that out. So I used AI. This is where I'm going to get techie for a second, right? I used AI. I'm on a Mac. I used AI to create what's called an automator script, which basically means that I can create the script so I can see the file, I can right click on it and say video mask and crop, and now it will automatically in the background do all of the work and export a new video. Normally, I'd have to take that video into a video program, crop it, put boxes over it, all that, then export it. Takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour to export. All this stuff is done by utilizing AI to create that script, and now it's done in seconds.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing.
So I record this, and then I run it through the AI script that knows exactly the structure of how I want the output, the end result to be, and I just throw it in there, and it does it. You could go even another level. It does it, wants me to approve it once I approve it, or not even. Or I can have a Kamil AI reviewing the video and saying, I don't like this, fix this. And then producing it and just putting it on YouTube.
Yeah. There's so many jobs right now that are going to get affected by AI. Not replaced. There's a lot of confusion, I think, and a lot of fear over that. Video editing is definitely one of them. We see now with a lot of video editing where it takes a transcript and you just take out, Willie said something in here, take out that line, and it not only takes out the audio, but it takes out the video as well. So you can, whereas before you had to look at the video, chop it, take it, all that stuff. Now you're just looking at it as text and, oh, you said a bad word there. Yeah, just take that out. And it truncates the video right there and edits it. So there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of fear. A lot of people think, oh, like we're not going to need video editors. No, you're still going to need video editors. But what's going to happen is now these editors are going to get enhanced in their productivity, just like you and I. I am way more productive now utilizing AI. The stuff I can get done, whereas it might have been like, okay, I got to send out a marketing email today and I got to write a blog post. That like back in the day, ancient history, a year ago or 2 years ago, that might have been an all-day thing, right? Crafting that email, editing it, testing it, doing the blog post, all of that stuff. That might have taken a day. Now you could do that in the first hour of your day and have an email, a marketing email, and a blog post ready. And then you could go to an analyze data. You could do scripting. It just goes, it's nuts. So literally, I work like 3 of me to 1 of me.
Yeah, now. And I think even before AI, I have an IT background. So I always look for ways to improve and simplify things and make it bulletproof. So that's what I'm doing in my business already. But since AI has come out and it really opened up my eyes to, all right, aside from the like boring normal stuff, like how can I use this in this part of the business and in this part of the business and in this part? And I am deeply in AI in my business. I think I'm I don't want to brag, but I think I'm using it more than any other brokerages out there.
Probably.
And I'm always like thinking of ways to improve it. And so yeah, I was talking about the email thing, and I want to talk about, I split these up in sections. So first thing is the email, right? The easy thing is, oh yeah, fix my email so I look cool. But then another level, like in real estate, we're getting so many emails, like it's crazy. How do you know, like everybody wants your attention. So how do you know what's important? Show me what's important. Show me what I need to respond to. Respond if you know the answer to it. And boom.
Yeah, one of the challenges, like I was saying, with a lot of users with AI, especially, so you and I are both tech heads. Like I've been doing technology all my life. I had my first computer on VIC-20 when I was like 12 years old, the cassette, and you seem the same. You got the fancy watch, the phone, like you're in on technology. So for you and I, it was a lot easier when AI came around because we are already involved with technology and feel comfortable in that space. A lot of people don't feel comfortable in that space. So when you just go to a ChatGPT and it's a box that says, what can I help you with? That's a little overwhelming. So that's where I'm working on this software package that makes that a lot easier, where it guides you through. But one cool thing that you can do with AI is you could create like your own kind of AI assistants. So if I want you to act as my executive assistant. I want you to look at these emails. I want you to summarize them and tell me what it is that I need to focus on. Now, in order to do that, you have to know what that prompt is. And if you don't know how to prompt AI properly, your results can vary. Because this is an important thing to understand is when you're prompting an AI, if you say, like, even if you go to Google and you type in, what's the capital of Rhode Island? And it says an AI summary up at the top there, right? You are literally programming that machine at that point, but you're programming it using human English language.
Yeah.
So those prompts are really important because that gets translated into something that the computer can understand. So you're really coding through the prompting process. So you got to get the prompt right. But anyway, to answer your question, number one, this is about what are all the different things you can do. And some of it is trial and error on this stuff. But when you could take these emails, right? You could literally drag your emails into a text document or whatever, right? Take a bunch of emails, bring it into a ChatGPT or any other AI of your choice, and say, I want you to act as my executive assistant. You are a trained executive assistant. I want you to read through these emails that I'm going to upload to you. Tell me what the important parts of these emails are and what deserves my attention right now. Drag it all in. Give it a whopping 20 seconds to do its thing, and boom, now you get a whole list right there of what it is you need to focus on. So from an efficiency standpoint, there's a lot of cool things that could be done. We're just still at that phase in which it's difficult for the end user to know, how do I get there? You could see a lot of people are using AI like just through Gmail. It'll say summarize and stuff like that. So or Apple Intelligence. Apple has it embedded into their operating system now.
Which is really cool because now it's integrating the user into AI instead of directly to AI.
The problem though is Apple Intelligence, it's not really that great. They farm stuff out to ChatGPT. So if you want the real power of AI, you want to start to get in and utilize AI either through a software package like that I'm creating, or go directly to ChatGPT and that kind of stuff. Some of these big names like Google and Apple, when they have it embedded into their operating system, it will do things, but it's very much you're handcuffed. There's only so much that you can do. It's very specific.
I think Google is doing a really good job.
Google is doing a better job than Apple.
Because it's integrating Gmail, Google Docs, Sheets, Drive. It's amazing.
Yeah, Google is definitely, I think, kicking Apple's butt in that regard.
Yeah. One thing about Google Drive is I'm looking for a document. I forgot what it was. Not just even text. It was like, I don't remember exactly what I was looking for. So I typed it in and it just showed me the file that it thinks is related to what I was looking for.
Yeah, it's great.
It wasn't the text that was in there, and So
it can make some assumptions. I wrote a document about a training program a couple of years ago, and it can kind of infer and say it might be this or this. It's really cool.
It's amazing. So that's as far as email, using that, even, which is scary, but automatically responding in the future, I think, like automatically responding to things that are simple questions that don't need, because to me, I get a lot of questions from my agents, and most of that information is on our internal website.
And this is the systems part.
Yeah.
That's where you can make it more autonomous. Obviously, we want to be careful at this point making it too autonomous, especially when it comes to communication, like emailing somebody back, because you want to make sure the information is right. But yeah, it's like trying to get those systems in place so that then you can like just click a button and say, okay, look, John, this is the information. It's right here. Yeah. I'll share like a real quick AI story. So Jamie, my fiance, who also works in the business with me, a student wrote in yesterday with a question about boogie woogie piano or something like this. She's not a pianist. She's an actor, right? She's a creative, but she's not a pianist. Brings it into ChatGPT, sends it back. The guy emails back, Willie, thanks so much for the incredible deep dive onto this. And then it like has a follow-up question on this.
Wow.
Thought I wrote it.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. What you were saying with video, creating a script and being able to do that, that's awesome, especially using that for a home tour, do some research on this property, and this is the video that I created, clean it up and do whatever to help me sell it, and it'll create that video. But mostly...
Yeah, I'm thinking also in the real estate space is that you could put together some links of the area, your comps and other stuff, and then utilize AI to highlight some selling points. So I want to sell this property. Yes, we know when we go into a property, there's 3 bedroom, a 1/4 acre lot, septic, sewer, whatever it is, right? We get all of those features and benefits, right? But now as a realtor, especially now with AI, this is where you've had to do this anyway, the marketing aspect of it, right? Of selling a home or selling a property. And the marketing aspect of selling a property is the story. Sometimes that's difficult for people to be able to tell the story. They want to just do the features and benefits. And anyone that's in the digital marketing space or selling online, we know the features and benefits are fine. You want to put them there, but people don't buy on features and benefits, okay?
Yeah.
Typically not. Even if you go to Apple's website, which here's a phone and different configurations, it's all about features and benefits, right?
Yeah.
But Apple doesn't sell that. They sell that lifestyle. This is what it looks like, and everyone's having fun and colors and all of this. So now you could use AI to help you craft the story better. I need an elevator pitch for this property so that when somebody walks into this property and is interested in this property, I can highlight the reasons why they're going to want to buy. Or if I know somebody is moving from South Carolina to come up here and buy a property, you throw that into AI. And it's not that we're dumb, that we can't do this, but it's going to take you time. You're going to have to sit and be like, okay, let me think about that. Is that really the best use of your time? Probably not.
I would say the worst part of listing a property isn't coordinating the pictures and coordinating like how I'm going to show and or getting the details about the house. It's the description of the house. That's the toughest part. And I've been using that for over a year, like that. But now I've evolved to not just doing that, but making it a themed description.
Sure.
According to where it is.
Yeah, it's story.
Yeah.
And that's marketing. People want to hear a story. They don't want to hear facts and figures.
Yeah. One more thing that I think would be really beneficial, aside from the video, and we talked a little bit about the description. I think the description is like I said, the toughest thing. And with AI, it just makes it so much easier to create that description of the home. Pictures is another thing. Like getting a photographer goes out, takes pictures, then you wait a couple days. But I think I've been doing this, but not AI style. Taking a picture with your phone and then photoshopping the pictures to make them look amazing. But now using AI to say, hey, here are the pictures. You touch up the picture and make it look amazing, as opposed to using someone to use Photoshop to edit and
Absolutely. So I'll tell you a little story quick and then get back to that. So I wanted a new picture for my business card. And I've been used to like having professional photo shoots and like it's hundreds of dollars, a professional headshot, all of this. I took the picture on my phone. So what I did was there's an app, I forget the name of it, but basically it takes a picture every X number of seconds and you can use the front camera or the back camera.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, all these different poses, whatever. And then it takes 50 pictures and I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, okay, I'll take that. Then I just bring it into Canva. I utilize Canva. I don't even have Photoshop anymore. And Canva has a whole bunch of AI tools and plugins and different stuff that you could do, and it will clean up the photo, and I could do pretty much everything that I would want to do Photoshop-wise in Canva. Obviously, it's not the same. Photoshop is Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
But Photoshop also has a steeper learning curve than Canva does. There, I utilize Canva, and now that's my picture for my business card, and I have for the website. And you look at it, nobody would know.
Yeah.
Nobody would know, oh, was that taken on your phone or taken by a professional photographer? So there's a couple of pieces there that I want to touch on. Number one is that the phone cameras have increased just exponentially. Like people, especially with an iPhone, people are making movies with these things. And I got actually a special case so that my lenses, so I could pop this out of the case, and those are lenses like the first day I got the phone. So never been scratched or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's the first part. The second part is that now the image processing has gotten so good that you put your images onto a Canva or a Photoshop, you can make stuff where it used to be the professional photographers would have their own programs and they have to tweak and all of this. Now the programs, Photoshop and Canva and others, will now start to automatically do that for you. Now, where AI can come in, now I haven't tried this, but I know AI can, especially ChatGPT, or if I'm working with code on a website, oh, like I got this, oh, I want to take this out over here, and I'll circle it in red in an image, and AI will be like, oh, I see what you're trying to do, and blah, 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 blah. One thing I would do if I were a realtor is I would bring some photos into AI, into a ChatGPT, and say, look, here's a property here. This is how much it's selling for. Give some backstory about the property. This is the story that I'm telling about this property. I'm going to upload some photos, and I want you to tell me your thoughts about the photos and if it fits the story, or if I need to crop the photos a certain way or make them brighter, or any suggestions you might have. And I bet you it will come up with some different ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So aside from the home pictures, there's also marketing and using marketing to maybe create an ad. So using AI to be able to do that.
Yeah, AI will not be able to help you make necessarily the video or the image of the ad. AI, Claude, ChatGPT, they can do some image creation, but anyone that has used that knows that those results can vary, mid-journey, like that kind of stuff. So the results can be okay, especially in the videos sphere, like ChatGPT, you can use Sora now and create video, but it's this funny, like slow motion, like, it looks a little wonky and weird. But again, ChatGPT came out 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's already making video.
Already,
right?
Yeah.
When you think about it. So what's 2.5 years from now? Yeah. But one thing that AI right now can be very good for is I want to do an ad, whether that be a digital ad, a print ad, a billboard. Let's take a billboard, for instance. Okay. Because a lot of times you'll see a billboard and you'll see that, yeah, this person didn't know what they were doing design-wise. It's like the phone number's too small, or the text is too small, or the colors don't match. This is where AI can help with not just what the messaging is going to be, but I would say, look, this is going to be on a billboard. I want you to make sure that the design of this, I'll upload an image of it. I want you to check this design-wise and make sure that it's going to be legible on a billboard, or this is going to be in print. Is this image, is this ad, is the call to action there? Is this going to get people to do what I want them to do? Or I would even ask AI, here's my ad. what do you think the call to action is?
Yeah.
And see if AI can figure it out. Because if AI can't figure it out, the consumer sure as heck ain't going to be able to figure it out.
Right.
In the advertising space, you could definitely utilize AI. And one thing I want to say, a real good tip, again, this might be dumbed down, some people probably already know this, is use AI to help you use AI better. So you go to a ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, it doesn't matter, whichever of them, and you say, this is who I am. I'm a professional realtor. I want you to act as an AI professional, and I want you to give me your top 20 prompts for selling homes or putting homes in the MLS or analyzing data on a property. And it will put out different prompts that you can use. So now it's going to help you use AI better. So then you take those prompts, mix it along with your data, and now you're in a much better position.
Okay. Yeah, the second part of this is actually the prompting. And I was going to ask you, like, how can a normal person who doesn't use AI think and be able to prompt properly? Like, how should they think of AI when they're asking?
So if you just go to a ChatGPT and you got the box and it says, what can I help you with? The best way to get started is say who you are, okay? Because it needs some context as to who you are. So let's back up for 1 second. If you just go to that box, what can I help you with? And you say, write me an email. Yeah. And then this is where people are like, oh, it's hallucinating because it's not writing an email about what I want to write it about. It's writing an email about hot dogs, but I'm selling houses. Did you let it know that you're selling houses? Actually, if you just said write an email, the AI is going to say, well, hey, dumb, it's not going to say that, but what do you want to write an email about? So say who you are, and you don't have to be verbose, just like a sentence or two. Then say how you want the AI to act. I want you to be a professional email or a professional marketer, right? Now I want you to help me create an email on X, Y, and Z. And now you're going to start to get data that's going to be much more in line with what you're looking for. Or I'm a professional realtor. Like I'm the top realtor in my state. I want you to act as an AI professional in prompting, and I want you to give me the top 10 prompts that I should use to be able to further my real estate empire in marketing or in sales or whatever. But yeah, that's say who you are, say how you want the AI to act, and then you're going to start to get much better results from it.
Okay. And don't hit enter until you have your whole thought put in.
Yeah, because the one thing that's tough is when you hit the return key, it automatically submits on all of the AI. So you got to hit shift return for a new line. But I will tell you this, AI really doesn't care about punctuation and stuff like that, even misspellings, as long as it's not egregious, right? If you say, I'm selling a house and rather House, you're like, I'm selling a HZJJKK. What is that? AI is not going to be able to figure that out. But if you said house, Hous, it's going to know. It left off or added two E's, whatever. But yeah, you want to formulate the prompt as best as you can before hitting enter. Or you could say, here's the first prompt, I want you to wait for further instructions, and it will wait for you.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I'm working in code, I always say, okay, here's details. I want you to think about this and analyze this, but I don't want you to write any code just yet. Wait for me. And it will do its thing, and it'll be like, I'm waiting for you. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, because it'll start throwing out, assuming what you want to get, like what information you want to get. Yeah. There's also the remember feature.
Yeah.
And how can people use that? Or customizing ChatGPT, as long as they're paying the
Sure, yeah. I'm not sure if in the free version, I don't think the free version allows you to manage your memory, but in the paid version, which is the $20 a month, you can go in and you can manage what ChatGPT remembers about you. And there's a setting in there, and you can and literally you could even ask ChatGPT, how in ChatGPT do I manage my memory? And it will tell you all of the steps on how to do that. But you can, while you are working with ChatGPT or any other AI, let's say that you put in this whole prompt and you get this data back. You could say to the AI, I want you to remember this. And then you'll see a message that says updated memory. Okay.
Cool. Yep.
And now the next time that you use it, there's a much higher likelihood that it's going to tap into that. It's not 100% foolproof, right? It's still, I think there's some of those things are still trying to work out because you might think, oh, I told you this is who I am or whatever. But the problem is, again, remember how I said that prompting is like computer programming?
Yeah.
You could steer it away inadvertently, even though it's already in its memory. And there are times, especially like I use Claude by Anthropic to do a lot of coding. And then I'll tell it things and it remembers it and then it does something else. And I'll say, and I'm bad. Sometimes I swear at it. I'm like, what the? I thought I told you to stop doing this. And then it always comes back, you're absolutely right. I should have done this. So again, don't get discouraged if you don't get the results that you want. This is all about the prompting. You're a coder when you prompt. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, then check out Jazzedge AI, because that's what I'm going to be helping with. But just, it's an iterative process. You're learning while the machine is learning as well.
Yeah. So one of my remember things is, if you're not 85% or more sure of the response I want, then, I forgot how I worded it, then ask me more questions so you are at least 85% or more sure of the result I want.
Yeah, and that's great. And then the best way of knowing if that's a good prompt or not is see the result that you get. It's literally a trial and error. Now, if you like the results that you get, then that prompt is probably good. Now, will that prompt be good for everything? Probably not, right? You might need a shift. But you find these prompts and ways of working with the AI that works for you. So you're going to utilize AI and prompt it differently than I will. And not to get too far in the weeds on this, but isn't that that's the creativity part as well? Where it's like you write an email, I write an email, all utilizing AI, but you prompt it one way, I prompt it another way, and we get different results, right?
Yeah.
So that's not the AI saying, oh, I'm going to give Willie and Kamil different results so they don't have the same thing. That's Kamil and Willie prompting me differently, so I'm going to give them different results.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that when I read a description on a listing on MLS, or I could tell if it's AI or not, because there's two words that are super annoying to me: boasts and nestled. And in my memory, I'm like, do not ever use the word boast
or
nestled, because it's in every single description for a home.
Yeah.
If you look online, those two words are... So that's one thing, it's do not ever use this.
There are people that say that they get a lot of good traction by saying, I want you to sound more human. So you get a result back. And this is the other thing that's important to remember is once you get a result back for an MLS description, let's just use that. So you get your MLS description, you put it all in, but you finally get something like, okay, yeah, that's pretty close. All right. So now you don't have to keep feeding in data. Now you can just simply say, okay, I like what you have, now make it sound more human. Or I like what you have, give me 3 different ways of saying the same thing, and I want you to sound like a high school student or a middle school student. I want you to bring it down to that level. If you need to if it's too heady, I need to bring it down. So you could say, I want you to talk to a middle school or high school grade level student, right? So you can tweak the results that you get based on what it is you're putting in.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, I go back and forth a lot with the results it gives me. I'm like, no, fix this.
Yeah.
But is it a good idea to say good AI or a bad AI with that little feedback thing?
Oh, the thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't know for sure. From a software standpoint, programming for years, I'm thinking that is a response back to the coding team. So that then the team, if they see a bunch of thumbs down, they could go in to the history and see what was prompted, what was the result, and they could start to figure out why this was bad. It would not surprise me if they have AI doing that in the background. So when you say thumbs down, AI analyzes the prompt and the response, and now it's aggregating that data. Now, whether or not a human looks at it or it's training the AI in the background, it could be doing that as well. But one thing that I will do is that I talk to AI like I would talk to you. Like I would say, okay, that's good. Thank you for that. Those are good results. And I don't do that thinking that I'm talking to a person. I realize that I'm talking to a machine. But this starts to get into some very interesting conversations of, at some point, we're going to have a conversation around the word sentience. And is this AI alive or not? We're not there yet. But we know, right? It's like a rocket scientist to figure out, okay, that's where we're heading. We're going to get to the point in which 5, 10, 15, 50, however many years from now, we will speak to AI and you will not be able to tell if it's a human being or not. There's already been studies done on this and people trying this kind of stuff. Like I said, Jamie sent out an email utilizing ChatGPT. Student writes back, Willie, thanks, this is great. I think I wrote it. I send out emails all the time and people will respond by, I don't know if I agree with that, or yeah, this is great. It's great. I'm getting that dialogue back and forth. So yeah, so I will interface with AI in a human way because I think that it's also going to help the AI start to understand what I want and what I don't want. Whether or not it's actually training on that or not at this point, I don't know. But I do think that it's good now and again to say, yes, that was a good job. I like the way you did that. Because then maybe it updates its memory.
But it definitely helps for the future, creating the ultimate.
And then also we need to be able to have this discussion and interface. AI is really like the Internet 3.0. Internet 1.0 is your basic websites. Internet 2.0, that's where we started getting e-commerce and all of this like bells and whistles, video and all of this. This is really Internet 3.0 now, where now we're getting a level of interaction with machines that we've never really had access to before. And it's not just on the web, right? It's through applications and all of that. So this is going to continue and it's going to move quickly. And the people, I think, in the professional market that are going to do well are going to be those people that don't necessarily have to use it, love it, any of that, but at least embrace the idea. And as we start to have more of that conversation, you don't have to say, what's your favorite color, AI? You don't need that kind of stuff. But having that little bit of humanity baked in, I don't think is a bad thing.
Definitely. Wow. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, we are just scratching the surface right now.
Yeah, I'm excited about next year, 2 years. I should say I'm excited about 2 months because the way we're moving is super fast.
Like I've told many of my friends and colleagues this, I feel very lucky to have been born when I was born, right? Like every 75 year, however long our lifespan is, right? Every 75, 80 year time in history has its advancements. But boy, think about how I remember growing up, there was no such thing as computers, personal computers, right? Cell phones, credit cards, the internet, like none of that stuff. And now it has just moved exponentially so quickly, which is really cool for a tech head like myself. I realize that there are challenges ahead, but I believe in humanity to be able to figure out those challenges. The last thing, I'll just tell you the nail gun story if I can real quick. So I liken AI to the nail gun. I like this analogy because I think it fits pretty well. So when you had roofers, right, you're in the business, I'm sure you've talked to many roofers over the years, right? You know, what they go up, they'd sling a hammer, right, and put nails in, right? So then the guy comes out and says, hey, look, I invented the nail gun. Okay, that's great. How many of those roofers were like, I'm sure probably, yeah, no, forget, I'm not using this nail gun. I've been using a hammer for 35 years. I swing a hammer, okay? And when the nail gun first came out, I'm sure that the nails went through the shingle. And then we had all the people like, oh, see, it doesn't work. I told you it's not going to work. But I'm sure they iterated real quick. Now the question is, how many roofs do you see in which guys are slinging hammers up on the roof? They don't. They're using a nail gun. Why? Because it's more efficient. It's quicker. They could dial it in exactly like the depth and the speed and whatnot every single time. So does that mean that roofers were put out of business? No, they adapted.
Yeah.
It does mean that whereas you might have needed 5 guys on a crew, now you only need 3 people on that crew. It does also mean, though, that now, okay, we could only do maybe 1 roof a week. Now we could do 2 or 3 in a week. But then it also means that the nail gun, right tool for the job, is not the tool for everything. If Jamie asked me to hang a picture in the wall, I'm not going to use a nail gun on my wall to put that nail in, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, we're at this point in which there's a lot of confusion. And like I said, some fear, there's excitement, it's like all of the emotions, like when the internet first came out. We're there now with AI. We just got to remember, it's just a tool. We're going to use the right tool for the job. It will help us be more productive. And those people that want to bury their head in the sand and be like, I absolutely won't use it. Don't be surprised if an employer says, hey, look, this person utilizes it and does the work of 2 people, whereas this person doesn't utilize it and is dragging us down. So.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. So Willie, how do people find you?
Jazzedge.ai. Okay, Jazzedge.ai is my AI business, or if you go to jazzedge.com, that's the piano lessons business. So just do a search for Jazzedge and you will find it. But if you want the AI side of things, Jazzedge AI.
.com.
Jazzedge. Actually, it's jazzedge.ai.
.ai.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I'm not sure if I have jazzedgeai.com. I think I do, but I have to check that out. I was thinking too, boy, they should have changed this to AL. Artificial language. And then we could have had all the jokes, like just call me Al, and like, oh, I'm using Al. AI, it's kind of, I don't know, like the Rhode Island Italian thing. I'm half Italian. So, hey, like, hey, I'm using A. So they could have had some fun with it. These are tech heads, right?
Yeah, AI. Alice is better.
Alice. Yeah. Hey, Alice. You know?
Awesome. All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kamil. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
My agents got a squad, we all in the zone. In-house help, so they ain't doing it alone. They focus on clients, negotiating win, while the back end's hand 'em, man, that's how we spin. I hand 'em business, watch 'em all climb.